They've won 20 games in a row. They won last year's Super Bowl and mollywopped the Kansas City Chiefs. The Broncos haven't won at the Link in 39 years, but the Denver Broncos just got a bunch of keys to victory in this game. We've got to break them all down and more in this video. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the algorithm out a ton if you like the Broncos, if you would like and subscribe. So we see some advanced analytics that are really telling here. Couple of great pieces of news. The first piece of great news here is this is showing quarterback EPA against a man coverage and against a zone coverage. We know that Bo Nix very early on in the season was just getting demolished against zone coverage, like he had not figured things out quick enough. And we're seeing that after these last couple of games, that number has steadily ticked into the place that you want to be, right? Where you're just as good against man as you are against zone. Anytime your name is right next to Matt Stafford and, Carson right under Patrick Mahomes, like that's the place you want to be. I was looking at Michael Penix. You want to be nowhere near Michael Penix, but that's interesting for the Broncos, obviously, that Bo Nix can carve both of those up. Now, the telling one is looking down here at Jalen Hurts, who is very good against man coverage and struggles against zone coverage. Like you put him in zone coverage and he's not better than Geno or Tua Tagovailoa. So you want the Denver Broncos playing in zone coverage against Jalen Hurts. So that is kind of what Jason Kelce came out and said on the radio today, basically talked about like, hey, how do you think the Broncos should match this thing up? Knowing that in the second half of that game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they were trying to force feed A.J. Brown the ball. He's tweeting stuff about like leaving and all that stuff. So, they want to get their best player the ball. So here is exactly what Jason Kelce said is really the Eagles' steps to victory would be have Patrick Surtain shadow him, put him in man coverage because you're going to see a much better Jalen Hurts and a much better offense when you do that.
And for those that don't know, he was the defensive player of the year last year, corner for the Broncos.
Yeah.
Do you think they put him on AJ, like, take him? And it's not just because, like, he's really good and it's a great matchup, but, like, the psychology of if he is handling AJ, now AJ might be really ticked and now causes a problem for Jalen and Nick. Like, is there a psychology to that matchup that Sean Payton might try to exploit?
I'll say this. I hope they do that because 9 times out of 10, if they're matching one guy with another guy, they're playing a lot of man coverage. And if you look at the Eagles versus man coverage and Jalen Hurts, they have just annihilated teams. The types of defenses we have struggled with have been more zone coverage based. So while that might hinder AJ's production.
So my big hope here is that you do not have Patrick Surtain traveling with AJ Brown, even though we know he is an elite receiver, and don't be upset when all of a sudden, like we've seen the Broncos cook in man coverage this year. We've seen Pat Surtain shut down Jamar Chase in man coverage and be like, of course he can do it. He can do it. But that also, by putting him in man coverage, you're hearing Jason Kelce say that is what the Philadelphia Eagles absolutely want. So I think that is absolutely going to be a key to victory there. The next key to victory from an advanced analytics that just came out here is this is showing quarterbacks who excel after the play breaks down. And so when you see the Broncos have great zone coverage, typically like in that last game, we knew that once Browning rolled out of the pocket, the play was over. Like nothing good was going to happen, but that's actually where Jalen Hurts really thrives. And so we need our edge rushers, our defensive linemen to like be relentless in their pursuit and know that if he's dancing around and rolling right or rolling left, that's actually when the best things are happening for him. And so we got to have the coverage hold up there in zone coverage that nobody's open, and then have our pass rush be relentless in their pursuit of him. Now, when I look here, I know we're going up against a team we haven't beat at their home stadium in almost 40 years. And a team that's winning 20 straight. But when I look at some of these wins, they feel a little fraudulent to me. And we're starting here with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, that you had Baker Mayfield without his best tackle in football and Tristan Wirfs, who's out. And he's like a top 3 at that position out. He was also without his best wide receiver in Evans, and then they lost their starting running back about midway through that game. And so seeing that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers dropped 25 on you, and that you scored 31, but Jalen Hurts didn't have a second half completion, that's a fraudulent win to me. This Chiefs win, we know that the Chiefs looked so much better when Xavier Worthy was in, and for the Chiefs to score 17 without a run game, without Xavier Worthy, Michael Darcy, the Chiefs creator, came out and said how happy he was with how they played because he didn't think the Eagles played well, and that was a team the Chiefs were absolutely decimated. And then we just know that the Dallas Cowboys are hot garbage, and the fact that offense only scored 24 points on them, I just think that those are some fraudulent wins. And even the Rams, if that was not for a blocked field goal in that, they lose that game to the Los Angeles Rams. And we saw the Rams last night lose on their home field on a short week against a really, really banged up team. And so these victories don't feel like they've just beat the 85 Bears by dropping 80 points on them. They feel very, very beatable to be. One of the things that does scare me is when the Broncos get to the tush push scenario, because we know that we are somewhat undersized, and Jonathan Cooper and several other defensive linemen have come out and said that they're not scared of the tush push and they have it schemed up. But this variant out of the tush push just seems pretty unguardable to me, that you load up here in the center of the field to stop it, and you get Saquon Barkley on the edge there, and it's just deuces. He's headed straight to the end zone. So the hope for the Broncos in this game, and I know we're going to win, you guys, is that the Broncos keep them out of 3rd and 4th and 1 situations. Don't even let them run that, right? Like that. The key to stopping this tush push is on 1st and 2nd down. It's not how do you stop it on 3rd or 4th down, because by that point it's kind of over. I trust this defense is going to be the best defense they've played by a country mile. None of these defenses out here are world beaters, where we know we have the best defense in the league. And then we're also going to be the best offensive line that this defense has had to come up against. And so I really like our situation there. Now, the other thing is Kay Adams came out and finally dropped the scoop of the century, and that is that the Denver Broncos have identified their joker. And according to Kay Adams, she knew this was the joker ahead of time. A lot of us thought it was going to be Evan Ingram, but no, it's not Evan Ingram. It is RJ Harvey. We know he played an incredible game in this last game, just seeing that we finally got him involved. In the past game, Bo Nix knew exactly where to put the ball for him, when to throw into a blitz that was coming, and just looking at how hyped Davis Webb and Sean Payton are after his day, and just the fact that like the 1-2 punch between RJ Harvey and J.K. Dobbins is absolutely nasty, and that this isn't a cat who can only run outside, that he had a ton of great runs right up the middle of the line, and that this is PFF's top graded offensive line in all of professional football. It's just a great thing. And I actually kind of agree with Kay Adams that I think our joker is not Evan Ingram. It is RJ Harvey. And the stat that they put up here, I don't know why they put a picture of J.K. Dobbins in that. Actually, maybe that is RJ Harvey wearing 37. I thought it was 27. But just looking here, that the year that Alvin Kamara came on the scene and was anointed the Joker, we know that the power back and the other back who actually had more yards rushing the ball that year was Mark Ingram, yet he became the Joker because he was just that scat back. He could catch the ball, and so I kind of agree with Kay Adams that I think RJ Harvey is going to be our Joker. So we will stop Jalen Hurts by playing zone coverage. We know our defensive line is going to shut down Saquon Barkley. We know that Bo Nix is not going to turn the ball over, and that our offense just finally clicked into gear, that he's playing behind the best passing left tackle in all of football. The best running one is Penei Sewell from the Detroit Lions, but Garrett Bowles graded the highest graded pass blocker in all of football. He's going for that Protector of the Year award, and there's not a defensive lineman on the Philadelphia Eagles that I think is knocking him off the perch this week. So very, very good thing. And the end of the day, as Zach Stevens said, which running back would you want for this next game based on their previous 4 games, knowing that the Broncos have played some great defenses, like knowing that they played the Chargers and Dobbins was on pace for 100 yards if you don't only give him the ball 11 times. And you see that even though he's only been on the field for 51% of our snaps this year, he is averaging 5.7 yards per carry and actually has more rushing yards than Saquon does, even though Saquon's on the field almost every single snap. And so I know he likes to deflect and say Bo Nix es especial, but you know who's actually especial? His name's J.K. Dobbins. The Broncos are going to win 31-19. We're on to the Jets, and Broncos country, we got so much to believe in.